Daizawa, thank you for joining us. Here are the weekly highlights of Arakan. Arakan Army's handover of 73 Bangladeshi fishermen signals potential boost in border cooperation. ULA calls for Chin-Arakanese unity on 78th Chin National Day. Equipment from Chinese-owned VPower plant in Kyaukphyu to be fully relocated amid growing conflict. 2 civilians killed, 2 injured in junta strike on Ramree village. India-Arakan trade routes fully reopen after 2-month closure. Myanmar military officers accused of profiting from dismantled homes in Sittwe villages. Fighting has continued across Arakan state for more than 2 years as the Arakan Army presses its offensives. From February 16th to 22nd of 2026, we'll be bringing you key developments regarding the situation in Arakan. Arakan Army's handover of 73 Bangladeshi fishermen signals potential boost in border cooperation. The Arakan Army officially handed over 73 Bangladeshi fishermen detained for illegal fishing in Arakan waters to the Border Guard Bangladesh (BGB) on the evening of February 16th. The fishermen were apprehended by the Arakan Army throughout 2024 and 2025 after trespassing into Arakan territory to fish. They were released following legal investigations and the completion of official procedures. Prior to the release, the Bangladeshi nationals reportedly took a formal oath in accordance with Islamic religious traditions, pledging not to cross the border illegally again, and signed bonds of undertaking. Observers have described the move as a positive sign for stability along the border. The handover comes as Bangladesh prepares for a political transition following the general election on February 12, 2026, in which the Bangladeshi Nationalist Party BNP won a landslide victory. Observers say maintaining harmony and open communication is crucial to managing border affairs. The successful transfer is expected to encourage improved coordination on border trade and security management between the two sides. ULA calls for Chin-Arakanese unity on 78th Chin National Day. The United League of Arakan has urged Chin communities in Arakan State, neighboring Chin State, and across Myanmar to value their existing bonds of affection, understanding, trust, and solidarity, and to work together to write a new chapter of history between the Chin and Arakanese people. The appeal was made in congratulatory message marking the 78th Chin National Day, which falls on February 20th. Beginning with this year's Chin National Day, the ULA encouraged the Chin people and all Chin ethnic subgroups to jointly participate in building the land of Arakan and implementing regional development projects alongside efforts to achieve national equality. The statement stated that it has taken the responsibility of protecting the freedom and national rights of the people of Arakan amid the ongoing armed conflict in the country. The message from ULA further noted that, depending on the security situation, residents within their controlled territories are permitted to hold National Day ceremonies and traditional festivals, celebrating the respective literature, culture, arts, languages, and national identities. In townships currently under the control of the Arakan Army, diverse ethnic groups, including Arakanese and Chin, live together. Residents remarked that under the administration of Arakan Army, they have gained greater opportunities than ever before to exercise their national identities, such as celebrating national days and promoting their traditional customs. Amid the military conflict, the ULA continues to strive for full national rights and self-determination, while urging the entire population to actively participate in these ongoing efforts. Equipment from Chinese-owned VPower plant in Kyaukphyu to be fully relocated amid growing conflict. The relocation of equipment from the VPower power plant in Kyaukphyu Township, a joint venture between Chinese state-owned CNTIC and Hong Kong-based VPower Group, is nearing completion amid escalating tensions in Arakan State. The process of moving equipment began in late 2024, initially through cargo ships, but has accelerated significantly following the recent outbreak of fighting near Kyaukphyu. Valued at over 140 million USD, the plant was designed to produce 150 megawatts of electricity using natural gas. However, it has struggled to produce even 60 megawatts due to chronic gas shortages. Under the original agreement, Myanmar provided the land and natural gas, while the Chinese side supplied the machinery and technology. The Myanmar government then repurchased the electricity in US dollars for distribution to the national grid. Located in Gongshan village, about 6 miles west of Kyaukphyu, the plant has faced security concerns since clashes between the military junta and the Arakan Army in June 2025, which took place just 2 miles from the facility. The power plant began operations in late 2020 under the National League of Democracy (NLD) government, with the goal of supplying electricity to the Kyaukphyu Special Economic Zone and the national grid. However, operations ceased in 2023 after the military regime failed to pay for the electricity in US dollars and failed to provide the necessary natural gas. 2 civilians killed, 2 injured in junta airstrike on Ramree village. 2 men were killed and 2 others injured in an airstrike carried out by the military regime on Threshold Village and late downtown Ramree Township, Arakan State. At around 11 a.m. on February 19th, according to local residents, the military regime reportedly deployed 2 jet fighters to attack the village, with bombs exploding at the village market and the site of a former police station. A large number of internally displaced people are currently taking shelter in Threshold and nearby villages in the laid-down area. Residents said the continued aerial attacks have heightened fear and insecurity among the local population. The military regime has intensified its airstrikes across Arakan State this year, resulting in a steady rise in civilian casualties. This month alone, nearly 40 civilians have been killed or injured in junta airstrikes in Kyaukphyu, Mrau, Ramree, Kyaukphyu, and Sittwe townships, according to local sources. India-Arakan trade routes fully reopened after 2-month closure. All trade routes between India and Arakan State, which had been suspended following the death of an Indian truck driver, were fully reopened on the morning of February 20th, according to local merchants. The reopening of trade routes in India's Longtali district followed negotiations between the officials of the Arakan Army and the authorities from Longtali district. The Indian side had closed the route for 2 months after an Indian driver transporting goods died in Shenlawa village, Palawa township on February 12th. Trade routes in India's Saihat district were reopened on February 17th. With the reopening of border gates in Longtali district on February 20th, full trade operations have now resumed. Merchants urge authorities to avoid similar closures, citing the importance of the route to Arakan State's economy. Arakan State, which is currently facing the Myanmar military regime's 4 cuts blockade, relies heavily on trade routes from India. Frequent closures have had significant local impacts. Myanmar military officers accused of profiting from dismantled homes in Sittwe villages. High-ranking Myanmar military officers are allegedly profiting from dismantling and selling homes in villages under junta control in Sittwe township, according to local sources. A junta tactical commander and his associates in Sittwe are reportedly overseeing the demolition of houses and the felling of trees in villages including Tokan, Thaindan, Chautangi, Chautan, and Chamatao. Salvage materials are then resold on the market. Amid soaring prices of firewood and charcoal in Sittwe, junta soldiers are reportedly dismantling vacant homes, fences, and wooden or bamboo structures and selling them to buyers, including members of the Muslim community. Residents of Gangojong village said their homes have been destroyed as part of the illicit trade carried out by junta troops. Similar incidents were reported in May 2025 when junta soldiers dismantled vacant wooden and bamboo houses in Sayongzu, Mangan, and Sayoja wards for resale. Residents of Sittwe, including internally displaced persons, are facing severe livelihood hardships due to the military's restrictions on the flow of goods and travel. Many villagers from the outskirts of Sittwe have fled to the city center or to areas controlled by the Arakan Army, fearing escalating hostilities or forced eviction by the military regime. Military tensions remain high in Sittwe, with frequent exchanges of heavy artillery fire and drone strikes between the military regime and the Arakan Army. These were the main highlights of the past week in Arakan. This program is presented every Tuesday, so please stay tuned. May all people of Arakan and the world stay healthy and safe.